Hello. Hi, Meg. It's just us two today. You and me. And Kim. Hello. Hello, hello. So today we're going to do these bits down here, this outline, and we're going to fill it in. Just these 6 little bits, like that. So you just need one color. Go and pick your color. Kim is watching instead of working. Girl, you are naughty. Don't blame me though. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it because today is not that difficult. It's very similar to yesterday, except instead of making all of the threads go down into a point, whereas the inside has a smaller area than the outside, because obviously more stitches can fit here, and inside not so many can. These ones are going to be just straight parallel stitches. So you're going to get your one color. And if you need to, you can draw some lines like this. No shame in that. And then these ones are going to go the other way. And if you have to draw them, draw them. If not, you don't have to. So I'm just going to get started, guys, because it's quite simple today. This is just going to work on getting the lines parallel. Nice, neat, tidy. It's not very nice out today. Okay, so let me position it. And then I'll zoom in for you as well. Sorry for the shaking. Okay. So just like before, I've got a little tail on my needle. All 6 strands, yes. If you are using an 8-inch hoop, then 6 strands is perfect. If you're using a 6-inch hoop, I would go 3. So it just depends if you're using a 6-inch or an 8-inch. So for this one, I'm going to start at the very tip. And down at the tip. And then I like to do one side first, then the other side, but you can do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 until you're finished. You can do both the sides at the same time. So come up here and go down, and then it's really up to you, however you feel like filling it in. The only thing you want to focus on today is making them parallel. So none of them are going to be like this down into the point. They're all going to be parallel straight across. So if you are not sure what parallel means, it just means that 2 lines that never, ever, 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 ever will come together and touch. So they're completely parallel. God, my fingers look huge. So I'm going to come up here. And you want it to lay nicely next to it. So if you have to do like this, lay it down and then find the point to put your needle in, you can do it that way. After you do it a couple times, you'll figure out exactly the point where you need to go. But there's no shame in using some cheats if you need to. So you want them to lay nicely right next to each other. And your stitches will obviously be shorter as you go along because of the curve. Yeah? So for example, I'm not going to put it like this and go down over here because that will make them be on an angle, and you want them to be nice and straight. I'm gonna do one more little one. You should get that nice kind of curved look to it. Yeah? So I'm gonna go back to the other side. You might need more stitches on one side than you do the other. It just depends on the shape, if the shape is exactly perfect, perfectly symmetrical or not. Which some of mine are not, because they're all hand-drawn, so it just depends on how well. So like this one, I'm gonna add one little more there. And there you go, there's one side. Do you have any questions about that? That music is really loud. Also, the video on my iPad is really blurry because I've got the iPad next to me just in case. Is it clear for you guys? Or is it blurry as well? Let me know if it is blurry because I might have to do the video again. So yes, this is the type of pen that goes away with heat. It's just it's gonna be like really, you have to know why my iPad is really blurry then. Like the whole screen, like I can barely even see, because normally I put my iPad next to it, next to the, you know, the phone, just like over here to the side. So then if I miss any questions, then I can scroll up. Well, good. I'm glad. Okay, so I use this one. It's the Pilot Frixion ball pen, and it is heat erasable. I know the ones in America have this like flame design on them, but the ones that you can get in the UK sometimes don't have it. It just depends. Sometimes they're a bit like this, or it's like fades to nothing. There's also some blue ones at Poundland. So if you're close to a Poundland, go to Poundland, and it's, oh, I had the link. Someone found them on eBay, but yeah, they're a bit cheaper. Whereas I think these ones are a pack of 3 for £7 at Sainsbury's, whereas those ones are £1 each. I think online you can get them like 6 for $5.80 or something. I think my music stopped. So she's said 2.live28. So I don't know your name, but if you leave it, then I'll call you by your name. She says, I've heard the lines come back in the freezer, but I don't think anyone would put their hoop in a freezer. Yeah, so this was funny with the Stitchalong, like, before, because some people are very adamant to remind everyone that in cold temperatures, the lines will come back. Yeah, they will come back. But this is more important if you ship your hoop somewhere, because sometimes in like the freight section of whatever it is, like the airplane, or I don't know if people still do packages via, you know, ships or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's an airplane now. In the airplane, sometimes the temperatures can get quite cold in the shipping section, like in where you put your packages. And so some people have said that when their hoops have arrived, they might show some lines on them. I will say that I've shipped over 1,000 orders and no one has ever said anything about lines on their hoops before. But that's not to say that it won't ever happen. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's just I guess it's a warning, so that just in case. So this little one is finished. I'm going to move on to this one, but as you know, I don't like to put my string across the hoop unless I know for sure it's going to be covered up. So it's Tatiana. Okay, good. Hi, nice to meet you. So unless I know it's going to be completely covered up, I always cut it and make a knot. So that's a personal preference. If you're okay with it, then you can just continue doing the other ones. But I'm going to do a knot on the back and then start again. So I don't see that on the other side. Tatiana says, yeah, it's probably good to just warn people ahead of time, I guess. Yeah, definitely. So like in my orders, I don't say anything about it. So like I've never like said, just so you know, like my drawing could come back. But it's never happened, so I feel like people would have probably complained by now if they saw it on their hoop, you know? Especially since sometimes I don't necessarily stitch over every single line. Sometimes I'll go a bit renegade, you know? So for this one, I'll show you how to do both sides at one time. You just go back and forth. Like I said, today is easy. It's an easy day. Simple. It's really just focusing on making your lines nice and parallel, not pulling too hard. I will say the more that you use your thread, the more untangled your threads will become, or untwisted. So you can see here, you can kind of see the definition of all of the different threads. Whereas when you take the thread directly off the skein, it looks more like this. That's totally fine. It's not anything to worry about, but you do have to make sure that, like I've been doing, that some of the threads might come up a little bit because they are untangled now. So just keep that in mind when you're stitching, that it might happen. It's totally normal. But just to keep your work neat and clean, like be a little bit more aware. Tatiana said, are the parallel lines a stylistic choice, or is this the most proper way to fill a space with color? So for satin stitch, normally you will make parallel lines like this. Obviously that one didn't go. I should have gone farther with that one, yeah. With satin stitch, normally it is parallel lines all nice and smooth together. For this pattern, I guess, it is a stylistic choice instead of having them be like this one, where we kind of tucked them in a little bit. Didn't finish. So yeah, so this is just a stylistic choice for me. But I do like to say that I don't think there's any right or wrong way necessarily to do hand embroidery, because it is such like a modern type thing now, where lots of people, you know, do their own way, their own twist, interpret the stitches in their own, sorry, I bumped it, in their own. Oh, I've done it again. Sauce, guys. So I will say, although I do know the proper way, oftentimes I'll bend the rules to make them how I want them or how I see it in my head, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so like I think it does look quite clean and nice. So Tatiana said, okay, it looks clean and nice. I think it does as well, but I think it just depends on what you want, what kind of vibe that you want it to have. Some people like the chunkier, textured look that a satin stitch could give. So like this one's a little bit smooth, but I feel like it has a bit more texture than these maybe, because these are the exact same shape, all in a line. But sometimes, like when we do the details day, we'll go back in, and if you want to, you can add some more straight stitches or satin stitches on top of it, and it will make it look more textured. We'll just give it that extra bit, you know? Good? Good for me? So yeah, I did not do the thread saver weight on either of these. You can tell. I just willy-nilly did it. Whereas this one, I did on the end, on that little one. You can always tell when you mix it up because there's like hardly any thread on the back. And we've just got one more. Who knows if I can win this thread chicken or not, because I really don't have that much thread left. That's all I've got. We shall see. I think it's going to be a no. I also want to say, your guys' hoops are looking so freaking good. I've been trying to repost all the ones that I can, and then like the ones in the hashtag. But oh my god, I'm getting some like serious color envy with the colors that you guys are choosing. I might win. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be incredible? Oh. I think it's gonna be a no. What do you guys think? Oh dear. Not enough. Okay. Knotting it, starting again. I did not win. I did not win at all. Also, these are a bit... Mike says, where did you get your sand from, Tori? It kills my back. Wait, your stand kills your back? Or embroidery kills your back? So I got my stand from a like car boot sale type thing, or a vintage shop. It was like a combination of the two. He had it was like a shop that had like that sold beads and things, like beads and fabrics and trimmings and all these kinds of things. And I said, just curious, do you have a thread stand, like an embroidery stand? And he goes, oh, I do have one. And he like went to the back of this shop, like under a bunch of tables, and there's just like stuff everywhere. And he's like, I do have one. He goes, actually, I think I've got about 3. And he had a floor stand, which I should have gotten because that would have been beneficial. And he had this one, and I was like, well, online they're like 20 or 30 pounds. So like, how much do you want for it? And he's like, $5. I was like, yes. But I know that they sell them at Hobbycraft. The ones like mine. So, or similar ones. So mine looks like this. I have to put soup cans on it because normally you're meant to put it underneath your leg, underneath your one leg. It just looks like this. So you put this part under your thigh, and then this part has an adjustable thing so you can make this taller or shorter. And then this is where you put your hoop in. And then this is the, this way, if you want it tilted down or up. And then, like that. But yeah, they're quite expensive from Hobbycraft. Look on eBay maybe, or Amazon. I'll see if I can find a link. If I can find a link, I'll do a swipe up in my stories later. But yeah, I got lucky with this one. It's quite an old one. And I will say that sometimes these are annoying because my thread will catch around them, where some of the other ones I think have a better way of putting them all together. But yeah, I'll have a look later, and if I find any, I'll definitely put a swipe up. They have floor stands there as well. But Kim says, I did this on the first flowers, always playing thread chicken. It's just so satisfying when it works out, isn't it? Like when you finally like finish and you don't have to like cut another part of thread. Because like now I have this thread, which I will use somewhere else, but it's not enough to like start a new flower on, you know? It's just a wee bit of thread. So it's going in my box with all the other 1,000,000 colors. So, right, that's it from me. Tag me in your pictures. Sorry, I just took a drink of water. Long pause. Tag me in your pictures and your stories. And yeah. Oh, Tatiana said, I just ordered a stand from Etsy a few days ago, but the reviews say it's hard to assemble. I'm not going to lie. People said that. I think it's called the Sonata stand or whatever. Lap stand or something like that. But yeah, people say that one's quite difficult to assemble as well. I guess it helps if you can see a picture of it to like figure out where it goes. But let us know if it's good or not, and then we can spread the word, and maybe other people can order the same one. I know Hawthorne Handmade also has them. I can do a swipe up to theirs, but I don't actually use theirs, so I'm not sure if it's like amazing or not, you know? I just got this one because it was £5 and thought, why not? All right, well, that's it for me. I'll be sharing all your photos and stories in my stories today. So be sure to tag me with your progress. And have a great Wednesday. That's all I got, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Nice meeting you as well.